if you think back to the previous video, we just finished off the paper mache on this little section here. You'll notice that the sign builders have been in. We've got 1 or 2 signs up in there. Round Cheese Chocolate and Robin Starch and some kind of tea. Lion's Tea I think it is. And we've got Lipton's Tea at the front. We've got all these adverts going. I hope I haven't gone overboard. I don't know what do you think about it? That too much or not? I think it's going to look okay when it's done. All these old stations had these advertising signs everywhere. So I've put it in its position on the model now, and I just wanted to see that everything was okay. And I may have to take a little bit off down here where it's holding up this building a little bit. And you can see the path is now in place as well. So that's worked out okay. So people can now come from the platform through here. They can come down these steps and up the ramp and out. Or alternatively, they can come down the stairs and they can come down here and around this corner here and then up there. Or the alternative is for them to come out this way as well. I don't know how that's going to work yet. I'll worry about that one later. But that's where we're at the moment. And you'll notice I've got a little bit of vegetation going off as well on top of the gutters and stuff like that. As was par for the course during those days. If I can seed it around this side as well, we may be able to get a view of the front, the platform side. So you can see we're moving along. So next I'm going to take this back off again and I'm going to work on it, and I'm going to get all the vegetation done and the scrap, all this area over here, all this land. I may put a tree or 2 in there as well. I'm going to finish this road off. You can see the road will come all the way down here and past the station, and the path comes down to the station too. So it's looking okay. We're moving along fine. I'm now going to start with the landscaping. So I'm going to make a start by painting this area. I'll shake it up first. I shouldn't just do that. Shake it up first. I notice I haven't got any paper in case I make a mess. So I'm going to put some brown paint in there. And this is, oops, it's a different colour. Oh, it's very thin when it waters out. Let me just get something to rest this on as well. Rest my brush on. So I'm going to put a different colour of brown as well on here. So I'm just making a base really. And I'll put a little bit of green in there as well. No hard and fast rules with this. We'll see what it's like in a minute. So what I'm going to do now is just spread this over, splash it all over, making sure that you don't ruin anything that's important. That's looking good. This is the bit, I apologise if my arm's in the way. I'll try and do it left-handed. I did it, didn't I? So this is just a base now to cover up the paper and to get something that we can stick down. Right, so that's, you see that's nice variety of different shades of green and yellow and not yellow, brown and stuff. So that's my base. I've also got a collection of different types of powders and stuff. This is scattered green powder. So I'm going to do, I don't need any glue on there because that's going to hold it for me. So I'm going to scatter some of this over it now, randomly. And I've also got some sand colour scatter, so I'm going to scatter that too. a little bit. You can see you put thicker on in some areas and less on in another. It doesn't matter whether it gets covered or not. This is just going to be the base for the land. A little bit more on there near that building. That's it. And the brown's showing through a little bit as well. So I put that scatter stuff on, and then I think I may even let that dry. But what I'm going to do after is put some different types of grasses on there, and ferns and little bushes and stuff like that. But I'll probably need to glue some on. So I'm just going to get a little bit of glue there. And just spread it over this area up here. And I've got some coarse turf here. Coarse turf. So I'm going to just sprinkle that on there. Oops. Again, I apologise for the camera and my hand obscuring the camera, but it's not easy to do. I'll try another angle when I come up back on again. So that's going to do me for now, I think. I'm just going to put that rough little bit of grass there, because it was rough up there. I'll put a little bit more further at the back. I may even stick a tree in there as well after. And that should stick down okay there now. So I'm going to leave it at that for now, and I'm going to let it dry, and then we'll come back and we'll continue with the project later on. As you can see, it's all dried very nicely now, so we're time for moving on a little bit again, I think. What I'm going to do is make some more additions to this now. This is, I probably mentioned this before, it's my favourite part. And I've actually gone and got a twig out of the garden, because I want to use that in this area to cover up this joint, because this joint bunches up to the other one. So what I've got to do is to make a hole in here, which I've already started, and I just want to make it a little bit bigger because it doesn't fit that twig in there at the moment. So let's see how that one goes now. That pushes down tight. Oh yeah, that's going to work. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of glue in there. And I'm going to push this down in place now. And that's going to be our nice little twig there. Obviously we're going to have to chop a little bit off because it looks a little bit too high. So I've already cut some branches off. So this one, I'm going to snip it off there, and I think we may just leave this one as a dead tree. That one there, just get it how you want it to look. I don't think that's bad actually. As I say, it'll just camouflage that little joint that we've got in there. And if I want, I can always put some extra branches and bushes and stuff on there, vegetation afterwards. So I'm going to continue now with this, and I think this little area down here could do with building up with some bushes. So I've got some, this is bush material, light green bush material, and it's only very small stuff, so it's a case of building it up. I know you can't see that very well though because it's behind the wall, but as it builds up you'll see it a little bit better. So I'm going to put more glue on there, and I've also got this stuff as well, which is a natural sort of lichen type material, which is like climbing plants, if you like. Well, that actually doesn't look bad. It's all trial and error, this. And so I'm going to put some more of this bush stuff on here now, and you can see it's starting to come up above the wall now, which will look good. It's not too difficult to do, and you just play about with it until you get it how you want it to be. A little bit more in there. I think that might just do it now. I'm going to leave that now for now, and then I can always add a little bit more later if I think I need it. So I need the same going over here now. This is a very bare area now. That's a bit difficult now. I put that tree in place, but I can still do it. I'm going to put some bushes around the tree as well. And I may put some climbing plants up the wall as well. As I say, this is the fun part really, because it starts to look real now, and you can mix all the different colours together like nature does. There you go. How's that look now around that tree? A little bit at the front as well, probably. The glue dries transparent, so it doesn't really matter if you put too much on. And then I can put some grasses in afterwards as well. So that's gonna set there now. So I need some up behind there as well. And I've also got some of this lichen, and this comes in different shades, and the lichen can go in there to give the impression of the dead grass and stuff. Oh, that looks quite good actually now. I'm impressed. I've impressed myself. Except I've dropped a bit on the floor. Okay. We've also got this. This is called polyfiber, and you can stretch this out and it covers an area. I think I should probably put some around there, because this needs filling in. There's a gap underneath there which needs filling in with something or another, definitely, whether they're bushes or lichen or whatever. So that is like ground cover. This, you can drag this out. So I need a little bit of glue around where it's going as well, so it will stick. And it looks like very faint stuff. We probably need a little bit of climbing stuff in here as well. So I'll put a little bit of that in there at the back. And a little bit more bush stuff in there as well, I think. Can you see now how it's starting to look? I think we can do with an old bush in there as well. So we'll pick one of these lighter coloured lichens. I'm quite happy with that now. That's filled that banking up quite well now. So we need a little bit more down here as well. Put some in there and a little bit in there. And I'm going to again use the faded stuff, because they do change colour, these, with the weather and That's too much. I'm going to leave that out. I don't want that much in there. And I'll put some of the climbing stuff in here as well now, which is slightly different colour. And you can see that mixes in well with the bush material. So I now want a stick or something that I can push it down with. And I think that looking quite well now. We'll need a few little bits along here as well. The thing is, don't do too much. You know, just do a little bit at a time and see how it looks. You can always add it to it later. That's some of the old stuff there growing up. And there's a nice little bush there growing at the side of that wall. And again, another little bit of stuff there. And we need something in this corner as well, because there's a little bit of a gap there. So I'm going to put some of this stuff up here. Some of the lichen. Lichen it or not. There. And that can grow up there like ivy. A few more little touches here and there now. Not too much. Probably put a bit of the coarse turf in there and all, because we don't have any around those areas. Don't try to go overboard with it. Try to make it look as realistic as possible. And you've got a nice little rough bit of ground there. That should look realistic when it's finished. Just didn't quite have enough glue on that one. There. I'm going to leave it like that for a bit now, and then I'll reassess it. The next thing to do is to get the, well, not necessarily the next thing, but I've got the fence to go in down here now, so that'll contain it, the fence. And then the next thing will be working on the road, I think. So that's where we're cutting off for now. I did my reassessment, and I've since added one or two more little touches. I've put a few little bits of grass in there, and I've added one or two more bushes. I've also added to the weighbridge building, I've got the broken down pipe, and I've also got a doorstep in there now. So it's starting to come together quite well now. This is the side that's the retaining wall here now, with all the bushes in there, and we've got a bit of grass coming out of there as well. So it's starting to look quite good, I think. We're now ready for finishing off the road. So that's the next step. Now then, I did make a start on the road, and it took a lot longer than I anticipated. So you guess what? We're going to have a part 4 of this now. So I'm going to conclude part 3 here, and I'm going to leave the road till part 4. So something else to look forward to. Thanks for watching again. Bye.